Hey guys, how's it going? New Year!
Yay!
New Year, same old us.
Good.
But that's okay. That is okay. Hope everyone had a enjoyable but safe New Year or New Year's celebration, however you choose to do that. From what you saw, it was very fruitful.
Yeah. Everywhere. It was packed everywhere I drove past. Yeah.
So hopefully somebody had a good year. But that's what we're here to talk about. 2022.
We did a lot in 2022.
We did a lot in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize until you look back and you're like, oh.
Lots of shenanigans.
Lots of shenanigans. We left the state a couple of times.
Oh.
We went on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
We took a couple of road trips. We saw more national bands than I think we have ever up to this point.
Yeah.
Certainly the most I've seen since probably the early 90s.
Yeah.
And yeah, so overall, what did you think of 2022?
A lot of whatnot. I can't even remember half of it. Well, there was a lot of medical stuff for me. We did do lots of adventures. I mean, I did. Yeah, you're an excellent adventure buddy.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I got to go to RockFest for the first time, which a little foreshadowing there, but I actually got to do that. I went to a lot of places I have never gone before, and because of you, I got to go to a whole other state that I had never been to. Actually, technically 2 states, but
Yep.
yeah, meet a bunch of people that I had never met. I've only heard tales of.
Heard the stories, but now you have
Yes.
faces to put to the names.
Yeah, work, of course, a lot of work, because that dirty word, we have to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good year. I mean, it's nothing too horrendous that I can remember off the top of my head, so that's a good thing. I mean, your usual politics and
just the normal.
And
All the things we've been dealing with for the past 3 years. Which I personally, and again, not, I personally tend to ignore as much of that as humanly possible, just because honestly, that's a reality I don't want to live in, but I know I kind of have to, kind of. So yeah, I try to tune as much of that out as humanly possible. But we can only do so much.
Yeah, you just gotta balance the working and the crummy stuff with the shenanigans and the fun and the better stuff. And so yeah.
Okay, so shall we dive in?
Hell yeah.
Okay, January. Things started off strong.
Yeah.
January 10th. I don't know if you had ever been to that venue before.
Yeah, a few times actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is my first time there. A place in St. Michael.
La Musique Room.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is basically in an old. It is one of the theaters of a multiplex movie theater. Which I found kind of strange. So it's like.
You don't expect
aren't
it.
there sound concern? But then
No,
you figure
excellent.
that the movies. I mean, I've been bleeding through, but it's with the way movie sound is now, everything is so loud anyway. I'm sure watching a movie there is much louder than seeing a band there.
Yeah.
But we saw. That would have been my second time seeing Menace?
Second, I think most likely.
I think second, yeah.
Well, I know we saw them
because the first time was at Nordic, and that was last
I can't even
late
remember.
summer, fall 2021. But then so they headlined, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the opener was a band that neither of us had seen. I'd seen the name around for a while. I know they've been on your list for a while, which is a band called Strange Days. And I really liked them. They were cool.
And were they putting out a CD?
I think,
or they were finishing up a CD?
They might have been finishing up, because I think they had. Did they have like an EP or something already out? Maybe.
Well, I got the CD. I think there. I got the CD there.
Yeah. So. Yeah, maybe their first, and then they were finishing up their second one, or however that went. But yeah. So.
Yeah, that was a good show. That's a good. You don't think about it, but it is really nicely set up in there, and sound wise and visual wise, and
yeah. I mean, because again, a lot of. Oh, I mean, this isn't like an old theater, but a lot of the older theaters had stages and had like orchestra pits, because going back to the days of the silent films, you'd have your band in there doing accompaniment. You know what I mean?
Sound.
For the movies that are being shown, and then they'd have like other events there. So yeah, a lot of the older ones have stages, so they basically just took down the screen and that expanded the stage, and then kind of put the sound in to make it viable for like a actual PA and stuff,
and lights
and then lights and everything, and probably a green room in the back, I would assume. But yeah, it was odd seeing a band in that almost formal of an environment, because I mean, there was a little room to stand if you wanted to, but mainly it was like you're sitting down and you're watching, and it's very much a theatrical like performance, but it was cool. It was very cool.
Get comfy seats and and look over, and then who did we see there?
Oh, we saw the Castor Boys.
Of course we did.
That
was fun.
Okay, the Castor Boys, we ran into them a lot this year.
Yes, we
did.
And
not just at shows that they were playing, which we'll get into in a little bit. They just kind of popped up.
They just pop up
everywhere, and that's always fun, because they're good boys.
Yes,
they're good boys. And we like them, and they're cool.
Good for shenanigans.
Oh, they're awesome! Oh my god.
Yes.
So much fun.
And then we ended up going to the club.
Oh yeah, we ended up going to
241 or 211 or
241. That sounds right. Something like that.
Annandale or
somewhere.
Not Annandale.
No,
not Annandale.
Not Annandale.
Albertville. There we go.
And hung out with them, and I think there was some karaoke involved.
Yes, there was. Yeah. That was fun.
Well, we tried to go to
multiple shots.
Well, we tried to go to the first bar.
Yeah.
Or because we went to the one bar, and then we were going to try to go to the other bar, and I don't know if you ventured over with us over to that other bar.
No, you guys went.
It was like me and Alex and a couple other people. Maybe it was Siaka, I don't remember.
Siaka was there.
But we went over, and Grant was there.
Yeah.
But we went over to this other bar, and I don't even know why he wanted to go over there, why Alex wanted to go over there. There was something special about it, and there was nobody in there, and I don't know if they were closing, or I don't know what was going on. So we just headed back to the other bar. But anyway, that was a meaningless story. But Alex, if you watch this, you know what I'm talking about, and you can comment and fill in the details, because I don't remember.
Help an old man with his memory.
But yeah, I mean, hanging out with them is always a good time. It's always fun.
I think, isn't that where I introduced you guys to the liquid marijuana?
I believe so.
Oh, so good.
I believe so.
Half the people don't know what you're talking about when you first ask the bartenders, but they're so good. But yeah.
Which is why you always have a picture of it on your phone. So you go, make this.
Yes, make this. Yeah, so that was a fun night.
That was a good night.
That was a good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything else about that one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But that's one I barely remember doing until I was going through my the videos I put out, and I was like, I remember St. Michael. Yeah. And the theater itself, not just the room, but the actual foyer, the entryway, freaking gorgeous. I mean, it looks like something out of a movie. It's awesome. So if you ever have a chance to go to the Musique Room. Definitely do it because it's an awesome place.
Yep, and they have different foods there, and they have a bar upstairs, and I think a bar downstairs. And it was my first time going to the bar upstairs there, because I think that's where you had to go up if you wanted an actual drink. And then I think we ran into a few people up there, actually.
Yeah,
and
a couple people up there. And then, yeah, because I think Menace was about halfway through their set. When we kind of looked over, it's like, oh, it's Castor Boys with Whitman and Company. Cool.
Yeah. That was fun.
So we had to run over and say hi, and then
yes,
the night progressed.
You know me, I've got to pick on everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know they're right over there. I got to go over there and pick on them. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So that's how we started the year. So I had a feeling it was going to be going to be a good year. Next show that we had, because I don't think we had anything in the 2 weeks between then. If we did, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Because again, that was almost a year ago. We're old and memory shot. Was at North Star Bar, which still not a fan of. I know I'll get shit for it, but still not a fan of.
Well, we haven't been there since they apparently had new owners, actually. So
right,
disclaimer there.
Yeah.
But the setup for the band was not the
it's still
greatest.
not. I mean, they might have a single monitor in the front now, maybe.
It needs a drum. We'll crowdfund it.
We will crowdfund a drum riser, some lights,
a little stage or something.
A little stage, something to make it more of a venue. If they're going to do this, might as well do it right.
Yeah.
More than one monitor, because it's good to hear yourself when you're on stage. Maybe.
I wouldn't know.
But anyway, so we went there for it was Beast Face, which you had not seen before. I think I'd only seen once before, but it was their CD release show, and they were playing with Coffin Rights, who are always fun, and Echoes of the Fallen, who I'd seen a couple times. I'm friends with their drummer, Sean. If you know Sean, he's an awesome guy. He's just so freaking cool, so nice. Still my longest interview to date. If you go on my page and look him up, or look at that interview, the interview itself was a little over 3 hours, and then I think we live streamed for a good hour and a half after that, something like that. That was a late night. He didn't get out of here until like 10:30. But it was so much fun. He's such a good guy, and Echoes of the Fallen is a good band. Yeah. Do you remember anything from that show?
I remember that whatever the first drink I had was supposed to be this like really good. Was it supposed to be a something seltzer or something? And it was not good.
That was nasty.
It was yuck.
It was not, no.
Yeah. And then is that the one where mystery guy who was sitting next to us was like, oh, those guys over there, we need a picture of them together needs to exist. Was that the show?
That might have been that show. That was either that show or the next one.
It was probably the next one. That was the next one.
It was one of the two.
It was the next one. I know it was. Yeah. So, anyways, because that was Hex's last show, so that was the next show.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but no, that was. I mean, it was okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, yes, like you said, it was a year ago, but now was that my first time seeing Coffin Rights or not? Because I don't remember. It may have
It might have been.
I'm trying to think.
2021.
Gosh, that year was.
I know you saw Plague of Stars before.
Yes.
I know you seen Plague of Stars at least a couple times before this year, or before 2022. At least once, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I would just say it was a good show.
Yeah, I mean it was a good solid metal show.
Yeah.
And I mean Coffin Rights, we'll just go through quickly. Coffin Rights pretty much a straight death metal band. But they're awesome. There's a lot of members. Well, Will Marvellis is a guitar player. I've known him for a while. He's a very, very cool dude. Their drummer is really good. Really cool dude. Echoes of the Fallen, as I said, as Sean. Death metal, but I think they're a little bit more techy, a little more techy death. And then Beastface is just, I'm not going to say weird, but they're kind of weird. I mean, they're heavy, and they're
definitely interesting,
proggy, and they're just cool. If you like kind of metal on the more odd, kind of weird side, definitely check out Beastface.
They've been on my list because I think I got that.
Yeah, you're their
pack,
first album, yeah.
Because that 24 CD pack for $10 or whatever deal I got in.
Yeah, from Zero Budget. Yep.
Yeah, one or two of their, or maybe they were on a compilation CD, and then. But anyways, yeah, they were on my list because they're definitely different, and I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, a chance to see them was good. So definitely different.
Yeah,
in a good way different, not they're different, but in a good way.
Yeah, in a good
yeah.
Like a Primus is different, or like a Mr. Bungle is different. that kind of like intriguing. Like, I need to hear more of this. Yeah. So that was a good show. Yeah. Then coming up into February, I just have one thing for February. I felt like we did more, but again, who knows?
We probably did. I'm guessing.
But the only one I actually did a review of was again at the North Star, which I think is our last North Star show that we went to that year.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But that was Isilic, Hex Vortices, and Trida. And unbeknownst to us, and I think them at the time, that turned out to be Hex Vortices' last show.
Yeah. I think we heard a whispering of it from somebody.
Not at the time. They didn't know at the time. Because it wasn't until after that show, or at least that's what Andy said to me. He was like after that show, or the video that he put out, he was like, after we did that show is when, because I think it had been in the works maybe for a little bit, but that was kind of like his final straw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I heard a whisper but couldn't. Maybe I didn't. But
yeah.
anyways,
and not to talk out of turn, but this is just information that we got from Andy. It was the fact that the show started really late. Again, the provisions for the band at the North Star, which aren't that good, and just like a lot of things were built up, and but he has a new project called Heavy as I, which is sounding to be really, really awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. But again, I've never seen a bad set from Hex. I've seen them at least half a dozen times, 10 times, something like that, over the last couple of years, and all really, really good dudes. Never seen a bad set. If you like as close to traditional old school thrash as the scene has to offer, yeah. Isilic is just again, they're another one that's a little bit more proggy, but just awesome. And again, we're friends with a couple of guys in the band. Aaron, the drummer, who is also the drummer for Plague of Stars, who was A, really, really nice guy, B, incredible fucking drummer. Paul, the guitar player, is just cool. He's just a cool guy. Any other? Well, before we talk about our favorite band probably of the night.
Nothing to add to that. So.
And then we come down to Trida, who I fell in love with the very first time I heard them, very first time I saw them. We'll get into them in a little bit, but oh my god, just so good. You can't even describe them. I can't describe them. It's just heavy awesomeness. Yeah.
Yeah. Trida. You have to experience, just listen, go find some Trida and listen to it. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. They have two releases. They may have
good people.
They may have a third one, like one before Jason joined. I don't know if that's available or not, but the two that are out there, the Goodnight EP and I'll pronounce the other one. Not turducken, but
sunskin, something like that.
Something like that.
don't know how to.
And we, dudes, we're sorry that we don't know how to pronounce the titles, but it's awesome. It is so good.
Better, but yeah.
Lots of smoke, lots of volume.
Yes.
Oh my God, awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, that turned out to be Hex Vortice's last show, and you'll see as we go through this, that seems to be a pattern with us. Unfortunately.
Don't say anything like that. They'll think we're cursed and they won't let us come anymore.
Oh God, I hope not. That would be bad. Well, that was the only one that wasn't announced ahead of time.
Yeah. Okay. True.
So we're not cursed.
Yeah. All right.
So then we jumped to March. And first thing in March, good old Route 47, where it looks like we went to a lot this year.
Oh yeah.
Like we saw a lot of shows at Route 47, which is a good venue. We like that place. We've talked many times about that place. And that was a dual tribute night. Peace of Mind, who was a Iron Maiden tribute, opening up for 10,000 Days, which is a Tool tribute. Thoughts on Peace of Mind? Because I didn't take you as much of a Maiden fan.
Oh, I dabble in all sorts of stuff.
Well, I know, but given your normal playlist, like Iron Maiden doesn't really fit. It's
in there. Occasionally, it depends on my moods. And, sometimes I'll pick up and dabble in different things, but I'm not a huge fan. Like if you ask me to say, names of this CD or that CD or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. But no, I do like some Maiden. I thought they were very good. Like I thought they were good too. I was way impressed. It was
given. Who was I talking to? Was I talking to someone about this? Maybe I was talking to you about this. I don't know. But the comparison between a band like Peace of Mind and a band like Made in Minneapolis. Made in Minneapolis tries to, I think, is trying too hard to emulate them visually a little bit.
Okay.
Because they do have the three guitarists, which Iron Maiden have now. Their singer does don the coat and the flag for the trooper and all that. Peace of Mind seem not that concerned about that. They seem more concerned about just playing the songs as close as you can, and freaking nailed it. I mean, their singer's really good. He nails Dickinson.
Was that Ted?
What?
Who's the singer for
Ted?
That was Ted.
No, Ted is the singer for Hellion.
God dang it! I thought he was for both of them. Okay, so who's the singer
for Peace of Mind? He was like a little bit heavier, like long-haired dude. Don't know his name. Apologize.
All right.
But yeah, he was good. He impressed me. He has some vibes on him.
That was a good show, though.
That was a good show. And 10,000 Days, that was a good show too. Both of us had seen 10,000 Days multiple times before.
Yeah. They're just freaking awesome.
Now I'm trying to remember if this is my first time seeing them after Marcus.
Oh, there we go. I'm like, I know it, but I can't remember it.
I don't remember if this is the first time I saw. I probably have seen him because my first 3-4 times seeing him was with Marcus. First time seeing him, they did Anima in its entirety, which was pretty freaking sweet. But anyway, we're just rambling. We're getting off topic.
Rambling again.
We're only into March. We have a long way to go.
A lot.
But if you want to see the unedited, it'll be on our Patreon.
Oh yeah, there you go. Don't edit that apart.
Link in the description. Yeah. So then we jumped to March 25th, which is a show. Unfortunately, you cannot. Was unable to attend, and that was King Goro, Diagoro, I think is how you pronounce it. Cobra Czar and Trida at Skyway, in the little room, not in the big room, but in the little room. Okay. And that was a good show. That was my first time seeing all of the bands except for Trida. The only problem I have with that room is the fact that it's basically just concrete. So sound just bounces all over the place unless it's packed, and I've never been to a show there that's packed. So the sound is not the greatest. But I got introduced to a bunch of new bands. If I'm remembering correctly, King Goro was a little bit kind of looser and thrashier, not quite as tight and technical, but a lot of fun to watch. Diagora was a little bit heavier, not quite death heavy, but a little bit heavier. Cobras are, for some reason, I don't remember, which is sad because they had the coolest T-shirt. I actually bought a shirt from them, but I don't remember what they sounded like, which I apologize, guys. Sorry.
Let's go back and listen again.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and dabble because I remember liking them. And then, of course, our friend Trida, who I would see every night of the fucking week, and just sit there and just. But anyway, maybe we could talk about. We could do a 3-hour video just on Trida. Seriously. Anyway.
All right.
Next show was an interesting one. This is our first national show of the year, which we have several actually, which is unusual. But so this band was coming into town, and we debated going, and I think it was either the day before or the day of that you were just kind of like, okay, let's go, and I was like, okay, and we just bought tickets and we went. And that was
like the day before.
I think it was like the day before, yeah. Obviously, it wasn't sold out.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but not really. And there was some confusion on when the show actually started.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we missed, of the 3 bands, we missed the first one completely, and we missed most of the second one. I think we finally got in our seats the last song, or second to last song.
Yeah, like the second
something like
to last.
that.
Yeah.
But that was Slipknot with Wage War, who we missed completely, and then In This Moment, who we caught the last maybe 2 songs of.
Yeah.
But if In This Moment comes back, I'd like to go and see them because
yeah.
The little bit that I saw, I'm like, okay, I bet you that's a killer show. And then Slipknot, who you had not seen before.
Yeah, somehow.
I'd seen them twice before. Though the one show I don't really count because...
Was that the one where it was really cold? And
yeah, that was the first Northern Invasion, and we did not dress properly, and we were freezing by the time they got... Because who does an outdoor show the first weekend in May in the Midwest? I mean, come on. But anyway... but yeah, they put on a hell of a show. I mean, they always do. The first time I saw Slipknot was on the All Hope Is Gone tour in 2008, 2009, with Trivium and Coheed and Cambria, and that was a good show. I mean, that was them probably at their peak. Like they were firing out on all those cylinders. They were. So good. So yeah, your first Slipknot experience. What did I mean? And we were up and to the side, kind of the stage.
Yeah.
So we the seats were good, but we could kind of see a little bit backstage. We could kind of see, But what did we think?
It was really good. A lot. There's a lot. Like for me, and especially, I like to watch each performer and what they're doing, kind of how they make that sound, how they make that sound, and there's so much visual already with this band, and
because there's
so
9 of them. Yeah.
And it was a lot. For me to, I would definitely, next time they come around, I want to see them again because there's just so much. But yeah, I'm so glad. Like I'm glad I was like, oh man, what am I doing? There's still tickets. Let's go. And
yeah, and the tickets, surprisingly for what they were not that expensive.
Yeah, it was reasonable. I mean, other than fees and fees and fees.
Well, yeah, but even that. I mean, because especially as of late, the whole Taylor Swift disaster, the whole Bruce Springsteen thing, even the tickets for Metallica for the upcoming tour are insane. So the fact that we got these for what they were,
I didn't remember. Were they like? It was like I want to say 70 or something, wasn't it? around that?
I think there were less. I think it was like 45 a piece, 50 a piece, something like that.
Yeah, it might have been around
Something like
50.
that.
I think all said and done, it might have been closer to 70 a piece.
Yeah.
But still,
they're very
not
reasonable.
terrible. I mean, it's terrible, but it's not terrible.
That's more in the. I mean, yeah, more in the wheelhouse of what I would be willing to pay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I mean, no offense to Bruce, but I would not spend $7,000 to go see Bruce
I'm
Springsteen.
not a huge Bruce Springsteen fan.
So.
If you gave them to me, I go. But
oh yeah, if I was giving to him, I'd go to any show you want to give me tickets for, even if it's like a J-pop thing. I would go anyway, just because it's free tickets, and just to have that experience.
We have open minds.
And we have open minds.
We like to see different things,
hear
different things. But yeah, I didn't know it was. Wow.
Yeah, Slipknot. If you're a fan and have not seen them, definitely see them at some point. I know if you're like an old purist and say, well, Joey's not in the band anymore and Paul's not in the band anymore and blah blah blah, it's like, just go see him anyway. It doesn't matter. Like,
or not, if you really don't want to.
Or if you're really that bullheaded, But
I was happy for the experience. I mean, like I said, how I got that far along without ever seeing them. Well, I didn't have a lot of people that would want to go with me other than you. So in the past, he literally is my like God-sent music buddy here. My ride or die in the music world. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
And otherwise, but yeah, no, that was good. That was a good show. I was really glad for that.
That was awesome.
Okay, and then
the next one is more in her wheelhouse because you've seen these guys.
I think I've seen him 3 times now.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is my first time seeing them, and that's a Rush Tribute Project.
4 times. 3 times at least. Okay,
3 times at least, and this is Rush Tribute Project. And if you don't know her, she is a huge Rush fan. I am
my counterparts right there.
I would consider myself a moderate Rush fan. Like I'm a fan, but I don't go like deep. But I appreciate more than just the singles. That's a good way of putting it. And I know there's a bunch of Rush tributes around, like, and I've been seeing these guys on Facebook for a long time. And I was kind of like, oh yeah. And then she was like, oh, RTP is playing Medina, and they're like, okay, let's go. Side note: Medina Entertainment Center is a place that my dad, who was a musician in the bands, played a shit ton in like the 70s and early 80s. Like they were in Medina. That was in their regular rotation.
That's so neat.
They play there at least once a month. And I'd never been there. So walking in, I was like, oh, this is the. I mean, I'm sure it's not the same room. I'm sure they changed a lot of shit.
Well, that where we ended up, I believe, is part of the original building.
Well, part of. But I'm sure they've expanded that room because that room was huge. And if that's the room my dad was playing in.
That might be the original room because I think that's the original whole building.
Oh,
like
that
the
makes
top
sense.
part of the
That
whole original building.
That makes
and then
sense.
they added on. I've driven past there a million times. I've never managed to see a show there. They in the summer they have swap meets, flea market in the parking lot. I've gone to those, but we can go to that.
Yeah, we'll have to
year.
hit up this year.
But yeah, but I've never seen. That was my first time seeing a show at that venue too. So
yeah, and the Rush Army came out in force. That place was packed.
my peeps.
That place was absolutely packed, which was awesome to see. And you had to get advance tickets for it.
You did.
And so I tried to get tickets that were, because everything like right in front was sold out. So I was kind of on the side, and I'm like, these, looking at the diagrams, like it should be okay. So we got there and found our seats, and it's like, okay, yeah, this will work. I mean,
there were actually pretty good seats.
It was enough forward that it wasn't like looking at the side of the stage.
Yeah.
You could still see everything. And again, we had fairly friendly neighbors at our table.
Yeah, we had decent neighbors.
But God, what were they? 2 songs in?
Oh yeah, maybe 2 songs in.
2 songs in, and then they went to do a keyboard song, and the keyboards weren't working. So I had to spend like 10 minutes figuring that out.
Which, if you know the first half of Rush, keyboards,
kind of
Gotta
important.
have some keywords.
I don't remember what song they were going to go into, but it was definitely keyword heavy. And so
Was it subdivisions?
it might have been. It might have been subdivisions.
Yeah.
But it was funny because so the Getty was like, keyboards not working, and so their sound guy was working on it. He's like, okay, what do we know that doesn't have keyboards into it? And they played like 3 songs that didn't have keyboards just to keep the show going. And then it was another like 5-minute break until they figured everything out. But to their credit, nobody in the crowd said a word. They were all just like, cool, no problem.
Enough Rush. You could find some
Yeah.
more songs, so we're not worried.
Or
they were screaming out recommendations.
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we were too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wanted them to do like In the Mood because that's
I like
a song that I didn't think they played a lot, but it turns out it was like a halfway regular thing in their sets.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of funny because it's such a non-Rush song.
Yeah.
If you know the catalog of Rush, that is such a non-Rush song.
Well, it's an OG Rush song.
Well, so is Working Man, but Working Man fits better than In the Mood does.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, so that was just cool. That was just it was good to finally see them, and yeah, absorb that
And then didn't they halfway through, like 2/3 of the way through, have trouble with their drums then? With
because
their soundboard? Their soundboard?
They were going to go into I think it was Just an Early Warning, something off of one of the early 80s like electronic drum songs, and those weren't working.
Yeah.
So it was just like
it's like, we got a ghost in here. There's probably lots of ghosts in there, but
oh, I'm sure
they were messing with them, so
they were just like, play acoustic, you fuckers.
Yeah.
But no, and we didn't.
And they still fought their way through that. I think they did end up having to shut it down for a little bit to reboot.
Yeah, it was another
finally
like 5 or 10 minute break, but everyone was just like, okay, we'll just go to the bar then.
Yeah,
I mean, like it wasn't a big deal. It was so cool to see that.
Okay. Where are we? Okay, all right, we're still in April.
Yeah, so the next week, give or take, our good buddies, New Defective, who we love and adore, and you should really check out.
Yes.
And they're another one that
Not should really, you must.
you might, yeah, they're definitely a must listen at least once.
Yes.
And again, they're another one that it's a rock band, and I wouldn't even call them proggy. But there is something different.
It's
different about them.
kind of proggy though,
A little bit.
in a way. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't
not
have
like
the rock
full
way,
on, not like full
but-
on,
like the songs. There's like part 2, like so. Animal Guide isn't that? There's a part 2, and then there's a part 1 and a part 2.
Part 2. Yeah.
I don't think there's a part 3, but yeah, there's good amount of storytelling and such in there.
And some what feels like odd times and years, they might not be, but it feels that way, and it's a little, but it's cool though, and plus they're just cool guys.
Good guys.
Very good guys.
Really
But
nice
what we're
stuff.
talking about is there's an open jam at Route 47 every week, run by Mad Mike's Funhouse,
Yeah.
who
there you go.
is a separate entity.
Yes.
Because I see that they're doing shows at like one of the casinos,
Yeah.
like Grand Casino or Hinckley or
They've been doing more shows in the last few months, I think now.
yeah,
Which is
I've seen them around.
cool.
But every Thursday except for holidays, obviously, at Route 47 from 7 to 11, I think is the hours.
Yeah.
They basically do like an open jam, and you can sign up beforehand. They have a song list, and you can pick a couple songs and put your name on the list. But every week, at like 9 o'clock, I think is
That sounds right.
something in there.
Yeah.
They bring in a band and do like a showcase, and you can do 20 minutes, half hour, whatever
Whatever it ends
the
up being.
set is. And it's cool. I've never actually. I think Outlaw Saint did one
No, maybe.
like a couple years ago. But yeah, we've seen, because Outlaw Saint did another one that we went to. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they did. Yep, I
And
remember showing up.
that may have been 2021. But yeah, New Defective did one, and a couple other people did them, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But it's just a cool thing because it's a cool opportunity just to go up there and, I mean, especially if you haven't played out a lot or been playing at like not so great venues, and to get to go to Route 47 with the great sound and the great lights and the great stage and all of that, and just, you know, be showcased like that is just, and the fact that Mike is willing to do that is just awesome.
Yeah, that is so, and it's really cool. Like,
and outside of that, I mean, just the jam itself is just fun. Because you never know who's going to show up. They do have their group of regulars, but even the group of regulars is like, okay, what are you going to do this week?
Oh yeah,
like Beth
Brennan.
Beth Brennan is one of the regulars, and if you don't know her, she's a singer in Sugar Buzz, has been for 12 years now or something.
Wow.
And she's awesome as a person.
Yes.
Killer fucking pipes. And yeah, she does a lot of
Yeah. So
she pulls out some stuff. They've been doing a lot of Queensryche lately. And there is rumors of them starting a Queensryche tribute. I don't know if I was speaking out of turn about that, but I did see that somewhere online. Which, if they did, that'd be freaking awesome. I'd go to that in a second. Because, yeah.
I would totally.
Because it's like, of all the bands, you wouldn't think, but
I don't even know if I've even heard of any Queensryche tributes.
I think I've heard of one, like, out, maybe like European or something.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, all the band, probably because no one can sing like Jeff Tate, but she can. She can hit those notes. So that would be awesome if they actually did that. If you do that, Beth, I'll be there. We'll be there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're bored on a Thursday night and just feel like having a bunch of random music by random people thrown at you, head down to Route 47. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's so good, and then you could just see like the dynamics and the energy is just so fun, and I personally like to watch the different musicians get up, especially the different drummers, because I'm a big nerd like that. But yeah, it's just so cool to see the different styles and the different, just and then how everybody kind of bounces off of each other when it comes to like the singers and stuff too, and it's just. And then you run into the people in the crowd too, that the different musicians out there. Him, everybody knows him. And most people know him, and so you get to run into people out in the audience too. So it's and they do have really good food there. So if you
they do have excellent food.
Good food and
their drinks are pretty good.
Yeah,
margaritas.
No,
not as good as
sorry,
Crobot.
Josh makes the best margaritas. I'm sorry, Route 47. I'm not sorry, Route 47. Your margaritas are not. You need to get Josh's recipe because. No, okay, all right. I'm off on a margarita run now.
Rant over.
Okay.
And I think that should be one of my goals for this year is to do at least one of the jams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you and Bob were talking about where is it? Just down the street. Drummers on Sunday, drummer jam. Kind of digressing here again. Bob.
The drum set karaoke.
Yes.
If
you were going to do that too.
I went to one, like 3 years ago, whenever it was, just to check it out, just to see what it was. This is the thing that happens at the Uptown VFW.
There we go.
Sponsored by Twin Cities Drum Collective. And literally you walk in and their stage, drum kit provided by them, and it's literally anything that they can find on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and you just play along with it, and it's cool. I mean, it's a good time.
Yeah, we got to do that.
And if I see that they're having it again, because they had it fairly regularly, and then of course the plague happened, so everything got kind of fucked up. But if I see them doing it again, we'll definitely check it out. And that's usually on like a Sunday afternoon.
I think that's what
Sunday
you said.
afternoon, early evening. So yeah, that'll be another goal to get at least at one of the jams, if not multiple.
Cool.
Because that'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, yeah, so that's a good time.
All right, we're in May now.
Now we're into May. We're almost halfway through. But we have a long way to go because this summer was kind of busy. Okay. May 27th was at Eagles 34. But this was your first time seeing volcano diving.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It very much was. They were on my list.
Yes. So this was the Vault, who I've seen at least once before at Terminal.
Wasn't there supposed to be
years
a
ago.
fourth band?
Volcano diving, and then the third band was supposed to be Redshift,
Okay, there we go.
who is now Phase Meridian.
Oh.
But they couldn't show up for some reason. I don't remember the reason.
This is
Yeah,
very
so Redshift, now Phase Meridian, couldn't make it for whatever reason. So we were like, okay, so what's going on? And then we saw this single person with a bank of like keyboards and guitars and all kinds of stuff like on the floor. And I'm like, what's this? And he starts, and oh my God.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was impressive. It was really, really impressive. This artist called, that goes by Problem Solvent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of rock, kind of hip hop, kind of
Everything.
It was very, very cool.
Really interesting, and the lyrics freaking interesting. Like, and very storytelling in the songs. Yeah, you gotta check him out.
Yeah, we talked to him for quite a bit afterwards.
We chatted him up a little there.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
And got his whole history, and it's very interesting. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's been through a lot.
And he does put a lot on Facebook too. So
yeah.
you can check him out on
Yeah,
Facebook.
definitely follow.
He's got stuff on there.
And again, any band we talk about, go and support and follow and all that stuff, because at least check them out. Because,
yeah,
why
give him
wouldn't
a
you?
listen. You never know, you might find something you really like.
This is true.
So
This is
I
very
just
true.
take along with him and keep finding all this stuff I like.
Yeah, I was going to say, your listening list is like
Oh, it's
so
just like,
long at this
yeah.
point.
I know.
Um,
This is why I keep holding your CDs hostage. It's I haven't gotten to them all yet.
Yeah, so he was very cool. And next up was Volcano Diving, who I'd seen before. Brad and company. A band that started out pretty much as like a joke. Because I interviewed them too a couple years ago. And started out as kind of like a joke, and now has kind of developed into...
They're a band.
They're a band now. And I know Brad has a couple more side projects. He used to be in Down in Furno, which is where I first met him. That band doesn't exist anymore. And then he just put out Volcano Diving. If you haven't checked him out, it is a comedic. I wouldn't call it like a parody band, but it's definitely
Comedic, operatic.
more on the comedic side.
A little bit.
It's definitely heavy, but not inaccessible.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then the Vault is interesting. A little more. I'm trying to. The Vault, if I remember it, they're mostly instrumental, correct?
I want to say they were pretty instrumental.
I believe so.
If I'm remembering.
And it's like a 3-piece, just guitar, bass, drums. Really good though. I mean, talented. Yeah.
Still bugging me that I can't remember the name of Brad's band thing. Yeah, no, but I was very impressed with Volcano Diving because I had never seen. And then, of course, shirtless dad bods, like...
Yeah. Yeah, Brad does have
I can look.
a tendency of getting at least topless on stage with various things written on his body.
So that was nice. That was a fun show too because I remember us talking to a few different people, musicians and stuff, and just it's always fun to talk to other people. And like I don't know these people, but he knows everybody. So just getting their different,
Yeah, I mean,
inputs and
which again is always this community is fairly, fairly
inclusive
solid
and nice and good, down to earth people. And like the thing we always say about everybody always says metalheads are so jerky and like angry and stuff, and like they're a lot more puppy and kittens than most other people think. But oops, did I just out the Sphincter Felch.
Yeah.
Oh!
Which apparently was an old project of his that he's bringing back.
That is a name.
Yeah.
Wow. That name warrants a lot of thought. If you want to think about it, but...
I probably wouldn't think too deep about that.
Well, I'm a lab tech, so different.
So you kind of
like,
yeah.
I think I get the end process. Ha ha ha! No pun intended. Of the sphincter felches. I think I'm so funny. Okay, but no, I wouldn't. I'm glad I would have never got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Oh, we're only at an hour. We're
Hi.
fine.
Hi,
We're fine.
people that. Okay, we're back. We're still here. I mean,
We're still here.
I was hiding to myself, by the way, because squirrels. Okay, but
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean,
That was a good show.
seeing. I'm going to say this about a lot of bands, but Volcano Diving again is just always a good time. They're just good people.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was that was entertainment. Because that was my first time actually seeing them. So
Yeah, and I only gave you the music like a week before.
well, but
or
I
something.
had
You had dabbled a little
at
bit,
least
yeah.
one of their CDs came in that pack that I got.
Oh right, yeah,
So, like I said,
probably the EP. Yeah,
They had
yeah.
been on my list.
Yeah.
Like in my long list, but they had been in my list. And then like you had given me some music then too, and then so I was excited to get to actually see them in real vibrant energy exuding personas.
Full color. Yes.
Yes, boy. Yes.
Yes.
Powerful.
Yes.
And
for sure.
like, wow. I remember, wow. That was a night. There was a lot of... Okay. All right. Because, their lyrics alone, come on.
Yeah,
and then when you
their
get them in
their lyrics
person,
are great.
it was like, holy cow. Yeah.
Putting a face to the lyrics
Exactly.
is interesting.
Very interesting lyrics. You might not know what I'm talking about, but if you look, you will know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
and
for
then
sure.
You'll know why
Yeah,
my eyes get big.
If you know Brad Graham, you know. Okay, before we get too far, I just wanted to point out
Yes.
that the Slipknot show, I don't know if you'd done any before then, but the Slipknot show was the first review video that we did together.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
At least for 2022. I don't know if you did any before
I don't remember if I have.
think so.
Don't think so. I think this
So
year
I think
was
that
when you
so I think
finally lured me.
yeah, Slipknot was the first our first joint review.
All right. Good job. You got me to do this camera thing with my homely mug, as my father would say. But it's all right. No, you don't make me try to attack you with there's proof.
That one's for you, Lou.
Oh.
Okay, so summer, yay, made it to June.
Woohoo!
Whew.
June. All right, June.
Sweet girl, I'm caught between a conversation. You